Now for task 1.6 we're going to look at compound objects. So this is where you take a container and then you place other detailed information inside it. So this is effectively nesting of the containers, nesting of the complex objects inside each other. This is where you start to draw a picture of the object-orientated world. A kitchen setting is made out of a table, chairs, plates, knives and forks and so on. So you have many plates, you have many knives and forks, your table has legs. So there's a relationship that legs belong to a table, table belongs to a kitchen setting, but legs are children of table. So table has legs, legs belong to table. So there's a two-way relationship happening here. So if you, in the case of the image on the left-hand side of your screen, you should see a persons array, much like we did in 1.5 arrays, and now we're going to add a second complex object to our array element. So we're going to put a special class inside an array element. So the first place we're going to start is we're going to fire up our editor with the code from the previous step in it. So this time we have a person here. So people are great, pets are great. Let's have a pet. So straight out of the bat, public pet. We're going to make pet. We're going to make a constructor for the pet. It's not going to do anything important this time, but it is required. And we're going to have some properties for the pet. So what did I use in my example? Name, animal, and age. So let's say public string name. Let's call it pname for clarity's sake, just to make this a little bit easier to read. And we want to get set configuration for that. And we are going to, what was the other one we had? Animal and age. So animal and age. So don't forget again. Public string p animal type. So it's going to be like a dog, a cat, and so on. Get set. And we're going to have public int. Let's make this string this. Public int p dot age for pet age. And that's where we get set. Okie dokie. Missing that semicolon. Alright. So that is going to be our pet class. So, as per our diagram here, you can see we're going to want to put a pet, an instance of pet, inside a person. So, for every person, we are going to want a public pet in lowercase. It's typical convention to use uppercase for the class name and lowercase for the instance of the class. So now, if we were to fire this up with the debugger, we should see that every person in this array has some unusual properties, and it has a pet. So let's have a quick look. Hit F5. No errors. Okay, our persons array now has one person in it, and now our pet lives underneath a person. So because it's null here, and we had this issue that we had to fix with my little hack in this code that you don't usually have to worry about, we're going to have to do the same thing again. So what we're going to do is, instead of doing new person like this, we're going to say p person p equals new person, and now we're going to say, sorry, that should be capital P. Okay, now p.pet equal to new pet. So we're creating a new pet that belongs to person, P, and then P is going to be the element that goes into that position in the array. So now, if we run this again, we get to the bottom of the first loop, we should have a pet with pet details in it. So let's have a look in our persons array. We have a person, and now we have a pet, and a pet is of type pet and has an age, animal type, and a name. So that's excellent. Each time we go through this loop, hitting F5, the next element, the next element in the array is now filled in with the empty data type, ready to be filled up with our data at runtime. So that is excellent. Now, the instructions say that we're going to, each pet should have a number of properties, for example, a name, an animal, and an age. So in this case, we don't really need the pet to be unique in any great detail. We're just putting them in there for the sake of it. So I would suggest that a good place to start is, after we've created our person details, we might want to read in some pet details. Now you'd read them in from the console and you'd do the data validation and so on and so forth that we've talked about already. But let's just hard code them for the time being. So let's say string this pet name equals Fido. String this pet type equals dog, and oops, this pet type is dog, and int this pet age equals 3 years old. Okay, so we are currently inside this loop. We're at person array, current person entered is the current position. So now we want to do dot pet of type pet, pet dot pet name equals this pet name. And we can copy this line. So Shift and Alt and the down arrow copies a line. So we can do that twice. So we don't want pet name this time. What we want is pet animal type equals this pet type. And again we want pet age equals this pet age. So this should take the value of this pet age, which will be 3 from the lines above, and save it in every dog. So now, if we were to change this to, instead of being the sum of the bank balances, we could say sum of pet ages, pet age. Alright. So this time we are going to look several layers deep into our objects. We're going to go into person 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on, and then drill into the pet and then the age value of the nested compound object. So again, we're going to go through every person. So for loop for the people. So for array pos equals 0, array pos less than max person count, array pos, array pos is not a good word to use here. Was a poor choice. Plus plus, so that's going to take us to every person. Now inside every person, we're going to look at the age of a pet. So we want to look at persons array, array position, so the current position in the array, dot pet age, to work out the age of the pet inside of the person in the container. So we're going to add those up for the 3 pets in our loop, and in this time it's going to be sum of pet ages. Okay, so this time if we pop our console back up, save that, whoops, wrong button. So if I now run this, we should get 3 people that we have to enter. Person 1, person 2, person 3. Now, when we hit enter here, we have 3 dogs called Fido, just because they're hard-coded and we're using the same one every time. Each of the 3 pets has an age of 3 years, so the sum of 3 3s is going to be 9 years old. Bang, 9 years. So this shows you how you can nest complex objects inside each other and how you can address them, and how the array, nesting one inside an array works.